Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go.
Forward!
Hard work, hard work, hard work.
Fall in. Hey, what's good? What's good? What's going on? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. It's another week. I'm getting ready to get to start early on a Monday morning. You know what it is. It's me, your boy, Trey the Commish, and you're rocking with your favorite veteran. That's First Formation Morning Sports Talk. So come on, fall in with us as we get to chopping it up, talking about what's going on over the course of the weekend. And you had a couple of good things, bad things. I guess it just depends on where you at, what you're feeling. So, of course, we know what was good for the season. That is the NFL and the college football as the pigskin is back. But, of course, we got a couple of other things to talk about prior to that before we get to in that, because that's going to be a huge endeavor. Of course, first off, for those pugilistic fans out there, as you know, the UFC had its championship in UFC 293 over the past weekend, in which the defending champion, Israel Adesanya, was front and center stage, I guess, octagon, to defend his middleweight championship versus Sean Strickland, the American, in which, if you watch the fight, it wasn't what we all expected. Of course, for the second time in 3 bouts, Israel Adesanya falls to the underdog, in which Sean Strickland was able to dispatch him in the 5 rounds. Of course, in the first round, he had a crushing blow that kind of like woke Israel up. He kind of put him on the defense, but Sean had a pretty good game plan. He kept Israel backing up, kept aggressing him, kept coming forth, and basically proved and showed the world, or shocked the world, in taking the belt yet again. So with this, of course, in my opinion, when I look at it, is the reign of Israel being one of those dominant fighters over, losing his belt for the second time in 3 bouts, in which he lost it to Alex Pereira. He went back and gained it back from Alex Pereira. And I believe this is even his first or second title defense since he got it back. He loses it yet again. So at this point, I wonder, is it a wrap for Izzy? Should we just go ahead and look forward to a new lineage of champions in the middleweight division? We don't know. Of course, that's UFC. In any case, sports is a any given day, I guess. Anyone can be beat any particular time, but you do have those that are pretty dominant. Additionally, also keeping in the mind of individual sports, shout out to the girl Coco Gauff winning the U.S. Open this weekend in 3 sets, and taking it, bringing home the gold yet again. One of the youngest champions since, of course, our beloved Serena Williams. Shout out to the hub. So, you know what I'm saying, Coco, you keep doing your thing. Keep on taking care of business and everything, because us will fall in line. We look forward to seeing you on the court again. Again, shout out Coco Gauff, 2023 U.S. Open champion. So like I was saying, basically, plenty going on, individual efforts. One that we would have thought we would have particularly been singing praises to, but it didn't come out to be as such. As we know, the FIBA World Cup has ended, in which the champions are not synonymous with the term USA. Of course, that is because the final round, the gold round, of course, was against Serbia and Germany, in which Germany was able to take care of business, going undefeated in FIBA World Play and taking the championship by the score of 83-77 over Serbia. Of course, led by Dennis Schroeder's 28 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Franz Wagner contributed with 19 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. His brother, 8 points. Bonga 7 points and 12 points from Vlatoman. For Serbia, like I said, winning the silver at this point. Bonjan Bogdanovic led the field with 17 points. Correction. Azarovic led the field with 21 points. Bogdanovic with 17 points. As they take the silver. So, of course, what the most part would you would have thought that, okay, they got the silver. Unfortunate, Team USA most likely is going to get the bronze. I know that was my mindset, but in a painful, painful fashion, US did not get the bronze. Instead, taking the 4th place exit in this tournament as they were handled by Canada by the score of 127 to 118 in overtime effort. US didn't have enough. Of course, they were without key players in Jerry Jackson Jr., Paolo Banchero, and Brandon Ingram, as they all fell ill and were not able to compete in this game. Led by none other, of course, than Anthony Edwards, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Austin Reeves contributed 23 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. And of course, Mikal Bridges, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, but it wasn't enough as for the hot shooting Canadians as an unlikely sort. Dylan Brooks, 39 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks in his efforts. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who ended up finishing with 24-point average, finished the game with 31 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. As what does this be say? Canada took care of business, knocking off Team USA, finishing with a bronze as was expected. That was going to be an epic game. I wonder would it went any different had the likes of Jared Jackson or Paolo Banchero or even Brandon Ingram was there to help with some contributions. However, it wasn't. A lot of times Steve Kerr played a small ball with in efforts where he had someone as big as Josh Hart at 6'5" playing the 5. And then when Josh Hart fouled out, he decided to go with an even smarter lineup to where he inserted Jalen Bronson, who of course pushed someone else to came in and run the point, and they pushed another guard to the 5 position, in which in all actually those positions helped out. It was beneficial to where it was able to make a run, but it was too little, too late. Just too much shooting. Anthony Edwards said himself in this aspect, there was not enough defense. They just played horrible defense. The team was made to be agile and swift. That experiment didn't work out, obviously. And now it puts Grant Hill and Steve Kerr and company back to go to the drawing board as they look to enlist other players for the most part to be able to compete in the Paris 2024 Olympics. That is 2 consecutive years in which the United States has lost the gold medal, did not get the gold medal in the Worlds. So now that puts them in the slate. So now we look and see who potentially will be on the roster for Team USA in the for the Olympics. This, as Steve Kerr stated, he looks at it as we're right there. In state, Steve Kerr was also said that basically the world has caught up to the NBA. You have a plethora of players in the NBA in which are that play in the league. However, he did make him look bad, but he was hot. Again, hot shooting dispatches the Team USA. It was good. Well, Anthony, that's hard formation this morning. So it did. It really did. He made Team USA look bad as well as. But again, we all know the name Dylan Brooks, and it's not like he's not known. We know Dylan. We know what he's about, and of course, especially with him sparking the U.S. 39 points, I think 6 to 7 shooting or something like that, 8 to 9 shooting from 3-point line, dropping in 39 points. he did what he had to do. Him and SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, finishing with 70 points of the 127. That's monstrous. And then not really any answer back. So he did what he had to do. They took care of business. Steve Kerr, as I was saying, stated that now it's evident that the worlds have caught up to the Team USA, and now it's just a matter of finding the right spots at particular times. Teams tend to find what they need to take care of business. No different than the Lithuania game, in which was the first of the 4 games in which USA lost at the end of the season. Lithuanian, basically, they tried to pack the paint versus Lithuania due to the size in which Lithuania has, and they caught fire. A barrage of 3-pointers that basically put USA on the defensive the whole game. So it's just one of those things. It happens to the best for the most part. The unfortunate thing is it happened to the youngsters or the experiment team, to where it looks like this wasn't a good idea. I wonder what would have been the rhetoric had it been the likes of LeBron James, Stephon Curry, Klay Thompson, or any of those other ones, Joel Embiid potentially. If it was any of those, would it have been the same? So, but it remains to be seen. Of course, the next time it will happen, it will basically be against the select team, or the Olympic team, in which they will be in international play. So, always take in consideration that old Mamba mindset. They played Germany in the pre-tune-up. Germany saw what they had and knew what they had to do going in, because they had faced it themselves, and they found out the way. So their coach did what they had to do. It didn't help that they were missing players in this tournament, but that's how the ball bounces. He said, "Now the only thing we have is soccer." Going on, moving on, of course. In WNBA action, before I actually get into college football and professional football, WNBA action. So, of course, real swiftly, got to shout out love to the ladies. Las Vegas Aces, of course, finished with the best record, 34-6, which puts them in position to be the number 1 seeded team going into the 8-team tournament for what is going to in-state be a championship for the WNBA team. So currently, they will be facing off on Wednesday as their champion playoffs get ready to start versus the Chicago Sky. Now, the Chicago Skies was locked in with the Los Angeles Sparks in what would have been the last position to play in the playoffs. Of course, it's a little bit different in NBA and WNBA, as it is the schedule shifts depending upon the record. So, of course, the Aces were the number 1 team. The Sky, who ended up being out the Los Angeles Sparks, ended up being the number 8 team, and which puts them to lock up on Wednesday at 9 p.m. The other game, which will be played that day, will be the Minnesota Lynx will face off against the Connecticut Sun, as they will do battle and in the best of 3 series. So, of course, be sure to tune in September 13th. Check out the WNBA in your favorite area. Just watch, catch them, and check it out. Continue to support the ladies as they do it as well. Now, going into college. So, of course, we all know, and I would be foolish to sit up and think any differently, that Deion Sanders and the Colorado Rockies were being watched and checked out over the course weekend. Of course, in a sense, maybe competition. What I will say is this: their schedule has been set up to benefit them. So, of course, they're not playing teams like Youngstown State, Savannah State, and they're a huge Power 5 in the Power 5 conference. They played TCU out the gate, a ranked 17th rank at the time. Then they end up playing this week. They played Nebraska. And this coming week, this Saturday, they will be playing against Colorado State. So, not bad squads. Not the most enduring outside the TCU team, but we all know TCU was not who we thought they would be, especially coming off going to a national championship game last year, although they were scrummed up pretty pretty well. But in case, everyone was keeping an eye on Colorado, so that was expected. As well as the big game that came later in the evening that pitted then number 3 Alabama against number 11 Texas, University of Texas, and then some others. But of course, we'll do the quick rundown of the scores, and then we'll go into the rankings, and then after that, I basically give my 2 cents, if we'll say that. First and foremost, the Georgia Bulldogs faced off against Ball State, in which, of course, as expected, Georgia took care of business, handing Ball State a 42-point drubbing at the score of 45-3. UNLV faced off against second-ranked Michigan, which the game was a little bit different, but in any case, it was still a loss for UNLV, as now they are 1-1 on their season. Michigan goes to 2-0 with 35-7 victory. Texas and Alabama, of course, a game that was watched. If you watched last year's game, then you had an inkling or a thought of thinking, like, you know what? I wonder if Texas can take care of business versus a less talented Alabama team in state, especially when they played last year. Think about it. They were very close. Ewers went out with an injury in which he did not get a chance to finish, but yet Texas still had a possible chance to win. You take in consideration their do it all back. B. John Robinson is now in the league and playing for Atlanta Falcons, in which he was excellent yesterday. But it was the thought was, can Alabama do the same thing they did last year? Can Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns enact what they started? Of course, the answer was the later. Texas Longhorns get the 10-point victory over the Alabama Crimson Tide by the score of 34-24. Of course, and soon we'll see it, a change in the ranks as that came across. Florida State faced off against Southern Miss, keeping their number 4 in the number 4 rank, defeating Southern Miss by a score of 66-13. Ohio State pulls the same score as the Michigan Wolverines did versus their foe, Youngstown State. Ohio State wins 35-7. USC handles business against Stanford, another Pac-12 foe, 56-10. Penn State takes the number 7 ranked Penn State takes on Delaware wins by the score of 63-7. Number 8 Washington handles business versus Tulsa 43-10. Number 9 Tennessee takes care Austin Peay as they get their victory 30-13. Now these teams, in my opinion, are just getting past these people. These other teams, number 10 Notre Dame faces off against North Carolina State, in which they get the dub 45-24. 12th ranked Utah Utes take on Baylor, in which they had a hard game. That game ended up putting them in potential to where the Utes get a late victory, a late comeback, having to come back 14 points, get 2 touchdowns, in which they get the victory 20-13. University of Oregon, here this guy come.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everyone? How are y'all doing? I know y'all done missed my lovely face, but a man is working now, so I got other things I got to do. Got to place my priorities. But how's everyone doing on this Monday? What's good, Trey? How you doing, bro? What's up?
Hey guys, how you doing?
I'm straight, man.
I was just going over the scores for this weekend before I got into the ranks, and I already passed USC because they're a 6th ranked team. I haven't got to Oklahoma yet.
That's what we doing.
I haven't got to Oklahoma yet.
That's what we doing.
But I mean, because I was at number 13th ranked Oregon at that particular time, so that means you came in just in time, so you could be able to speak a little bit of Oklahoma when we get to it.
Oh, that's what we doing today, huh?
So, of course, like I said, Oregon, 13th ranked Oregon, took care of business, knocking off Texas Tech 38-30, although that was a close game in retrospect. Grambling and LSU faced off. LSU doing what they should have did to Florida State last week, but they knock off Grambling by the score of 72-10, winning the games that we should. Kansas State, number 15, Kansas State 42-13 over Troy. Oregon State 55-7 over UC Davis. North Carolina locked in an overtime battle, almost lost their game, but they were able to pull it out 40-34. Now, Bishop, I was going to troll you, right? I had it
No, you
locked with
wasn't.
Cotton.
No,
Oh,
you
yes,
wasn't.
I was.
No, you wasn't. Let me tell you what you
SMU,
wasn't about.
be 100. Keep it 100. Were you not worried
I
that
was not.
SMU?
I was not. I was not worried. I'm not worried. So let me explain something to you,
Okay,
my young compadre. So let me explain this to you real quick, right? This is the thing. I will say this. I'm not a huge fan of Dylan Gabriel. I'm not. I said this last year. I'm not a huge fan of him. I feel like he is not the person we need at that position. I'm not a huge fan of I want to say Nick Sirianni, but it's not Nick Sirianni, but Brent Venables. I'm not a big fan of Brent Venables either. I'm not a huge fan of him at all. I'm not. I don't feel like he's the right coach for us as well. I just don't feel as though those two individuals will be let me put it like this. I feel those two individuals will be our downfall when it's all said and done. We went 7-7 last season, worst record we've had in years, in over a decade or so. Worst record we've had in years. And I get it. It was Brent Venables' first season. However, he still has the same people in regards, but we had one of the best recruiting classes past 2 years. And we're steady recruiting. However, it's not being brought forward on the field. It's not being brought forward on the field. We're making horrible mistakes in key possessions. Don't get me wrong. The soonest we came away with a win, I wasn't necessarily worried.
28-11.
However, we did get a light start. We didn't come out like we came out hitting on all cylinders like we did week 1. That's first thing. However, we did get it together and we came out second half and kind of like took the lid off and went from there. But SMU again is not the team in which we played the first week. SMU is a better team. SMU had a win in the win column, had a notch in the win column. So we wasn't going in there expecting to go and blow out SMU. That was definitely not the case. However, we did come out with the win, and we fell a whole position. We went from 18 to 19 with Colorado leapfrogging us, which is surprising because could it be Oklahoma just pause? Wait, Wayne, hold up, just bad? That's not possible. That is not a good question. First of all, that is not a good question. But anywho, second of all, Wayne, in your team Alabama?
No.
Oh,
he's a Trojan.
Oh, that's just as bad. Anywho, but my thing is, we got our dub. We took care of business. We got the dub like we were supposed to. It is what it is. It wasn't the best looking win, but we got the win, and that's all that matters. But I don't really care for who we got in both positions, as well as the quarterback, as well as the offensive, or as well as the head coach position. But we'll see.
So I like to ask this question before I go ahead and finish up the rest of the top 25 teams, Bishop. I will give you an opportunity to go ahead and give the Pac-12 their flowers now. So
for
it's
what?
Not like
for what? What am I giving them flowers for?
They're currently after 3 weeks of playing. They're the most dominant conference.
Let's go 2 weeks. Everybody ain't in 3 weeks.
USC
only 2. We're in week 2. We're in week 2. We're going into week 3. Don't do
17-1 as Coach Wayne puts up. 17-1.
17-1 what?
That's their record over the course of the games in which they played.
Okay, and how many national championships they got with that? Don't worry, I'll wait.
I'm just asking.
Okay, what am I giving them flowers for?
The swan song. Everyone wants to call it a swan song, but right now they're showing that they are a competitive conference.
They're not
17-1
because of two teams. That's not a conference competitive conference.
17-1.
If anybody deserves flowers, it's Texas.
No,
because they beat What? No, they
No.
went in. They went
They
into
did exactly
Alabama.
what they was expected to do,
No,
what they was going to
they
do
was
last
not.
year.
No, they was not suspected to beat Alabama in Alabama. No, you
They
would not
were.
do that. No one picked. Only person that picked Alabama to lose was Lee Corso. He picked Texas. Everybody else picked Alabama.
If you watch what Texas did last year, the only thing that
Well,
saved
we can't
Alabama
talk about
last year was Ewers went down with an injury.
We can't talk about last year.
Why not?
Last year,
That's what.
because last year is irrelevant. It's past. It's past tense. It's irrelevant right now. Last year, who cares about what happened last year? It's over with. It's done. Last year is in the past. We almost in a whole new year. We're in the birds right now. September, October, November, December. We're in the birds. We almost in a whole new year. 2024 is around the corner. And you want to talk about 2022?
The Pac-12 is 17-1.
Correction,
Correction, 17-2. I'm sorry, 17-2, because where Arizona lost and Stanford lost, but Stanford played another Pac-12 opponent. So the Pac-12 is 17 and
what's the big? Let me hold on, because I'm tired of nonsense. And the Big 12.
Hold up. So Wisconsin, number 19, Wisconsin played Washington State, in which Washington State upsetted Wisconsin by the score of 31-22. Ole Miss and Tulane faced off when Ole Miss knocked off Tulane. Number 20, Ole Miss knocked off number 21 ranked Tulane by the score of 37-20. Number 21 Duke takes care of business against Lafayette, winning 42-7. Number 22 Colorado handedly takes care of Nebraska, although it was a little bit more of a challenge by the score of 36-14. Definitely what we see is Shedeur Sanders is probably a real deal passing and playing, as he was sacked 6 times and was still able to fight through that and get the dub. Texas A&M falls to Miami by the score of 48-33, which most likely, of course, when we talk about this ranking next, 23 will fall. And then last but not least, number 25 ranked Clemson took on Charleston, South Carolina, in which they get the dub 66-17. Now, going into
that right there, that further shows me that y'all conference is whack. Pac-12 conference is whack. The only teams y'all whack. Y'all are whack. So I'm looking at y'all conference. You're right. Y'all are, what is it? 17,
we have 8 of the 25 top. We have 8 of the top 25.
11, 12, 13. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Y'all 13. Where do y'all get 17 from?
17.
Where y'all get 17 from? I'm looking. Hold on.
Well, you know where you can get 17 from? Look at the top 25, because 8 of them are in there. Okay, that's where you look.
No, but I'm saying, where y'all getting 17 wins from? Because I'm looking at y'all are 3. I'm gonna tell you, y'all got 3. Y'all 3-0. Colorado. Hold on.
2-0.
Hold on. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13.
We lost 2 games. Arizona and Stanford, the
only
only 2 losses.
No. Y'all got 4. Arizona lost the game. Arizona State lost the game. California done lost the game. And Stanford have lost the game. What are you talking about? That's 4. I'm looking at it right now. Pac-12.
Who did Cal lose to?
I don't know who they lost to, but y'all lost. They lost. California Bears are 1-1 overall.
I might stand.
Arizona State 1. Where are you at, Wayne? I need you to check your stuff too. You up talking about 17-1? Y'all are not 17-1. Y'all are 3, 5. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21-4.
21-4. Okay, I'll take that.
Thank you, so
that's still the best record in across the board.
But again, look, y'all in a whack ass conference. Once again,
we only two teams played each other.
What does that got to do with anything? Y'all that doesn't have.
You say we're in a whack ass conference. We're not playing. We're not playing our conference. We're playing other people. Utah beat Florida.
But who are y'all playing?
Colorado beat
USC.
TCU.
The 3 games the 3 games USC played. Who they play?
They played San Jose State. They played Stanford.
Nobody.
And they played who was their first game? I forgot who their first game. Oh, San Jose, Stanford, and Nevada.
Nobody's.
I know you're not talking. Even you know what? I'm not going to even make this about Oklahoma.
But I'm not sitting here talking about 23 and 4 either.
Because y'all conference is whack. Y'all lost to Texas State.
Who lost to Texas State?
Baylor lost to Texas State.
And
Baylor
lost to Texas State. Hold on.
Baylor lost to Texas State.
Hold on. Where's the WAC-12 at? Where is the WAC-12 at? Because I know you ain't about to talk about Baylor. Baylor wasn't ranked for one, but hold on. Let's see. Stanford.
Baylor shouldn't have lost to Texas State either.
Hold on.
What's the Big 12's current record? It ain't 21-4.
Our record? No, it ain't 21-4. No. But we play better teams than anybody y'all play.
That is cap.
Name one team in the Pac-12. Name one team in the Pac-12 that they played somebody in the top 5 or even the top 10. First off, don't worry, I'll wait. Nobody. Y'all have played nobody in the top 10
because they're all in the top. They was a schedule like that. They're all in the top 10. They're all in the top 20. 8 of 25 teams in the top 5, in the top 25.
Again, name one of the.
How do you get, if we're whack, how do we get 8 of the
because y'all in the WAC conference? I keep telling you.
We're not playing each other. Any other time we don't get that. Look
at this.
8 of the top 25.
4 teams are in the Atlantic, the ACC that's in the top 25. No one in the AAC is in the top 25.
There's only 17 spots left in the top 25 for the other conferences.
3 teams are in the Big 12 that's in the top 25. 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in the Big 10. One in the FBS. And then y'all got the rest. Oh, and one in oh no, hold on. 1, 2, 5 in the SEC. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 in the SEC. And then y'all got the rest.
8 of the 25 teams, which is unfortunate. It could be a ploy. I call it what it is. It could be a ploy because we're about to start playing each other. So yes, they're going to start to fall off some here and there. Because Colorado by the end of the September plays both USC and Oregon, who are currently in the top 10. So Oregon's
Colorado gonna knock off USC.
That is a lie.
What? Colorado is for the knockoff.
You're not drinking that Colorado Kool-Aid, are you?
Yes, I'm absolutely drinking.
Yes, you are. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be thirsty come.
I'm not going to be thirsty. Colorado is knocking off Colorado is knocking off USC, and they're going to knock off Oregon.
You can't
they're
believe
going to knock off both. I absolutely.
I understand we are African Americans and we want to continue to show this love and support. It ain't got nothing to do with
for one.
So how do you figure that?
I'm about to tell you. For one, 2 people. Shador Sanders, Shador Sanders, and the young cat who plays both ways,
Travis Hunter.
That's all I gotta say, bro. And that running back coming out.
Can't be serious. Edwards.
Y'all heard it here first. 9:30, September 11th. You can't forget this day.
Oregon and USC.
Oregon and USC is going to
So what you're telling me is
going to fall.
What we have seen, because Texas jumped up 6 spots from number 11 to number 4
Alabama.
For being number 3rd for the 3rd ranked Alabama. So what you're telling me is because the expectancy is that Colorado is going to beat Colorado State this week, which after that is going to set up Oregon, and after that sets up USC. So what you're telling me is by the beginning of on the 3rd week of the NFL, 4th week of the NFL is we're going to see that Colorado University is going to be a top 10 team in college football after knocking off USC and Oregon.
Yep, September the 30th. Colorado is going to knock off USC September the 30th.
And Oregon September 23rd.
No, they don't play Oregon. Who plays?
They play Oregon the week before.
Who does? Colorado?
Colorado. They got Oregon on the 23rd and USC on the 30th. They play Oregon in Oregon and they play USC in play Oregon and USC plays them in Colorado.
They play Colorado State next. And they play Oregon
Mm-hmm.
The USC, yep. At Oregon, yeah. They might lose to Oregon. They might lose it because they playing
And they're
at
going to
Oregon.
use the USC.
No, USC they
They're
playing at
going to
home.
lose. They're going to be 3-2 by the end of October.
No,
By the end of September.
They not losing in USC. I mean, they not losing at home.
You just capping, right? You just playing, right?
No, they're not losing at home.
They're losing at home.
They're not losing at home, bro.
They're losing to USC at home.
No, they're not. They're not losing at home. They might lose on the road in Oregon, but they're not losing at home. They're not losing at home. They're not. Did you see the crowd? Did you see the turnout?
I saw that, right?
Bro,
so let's keep it 100.
Let me explain something to you. We all know, you do know about how the air is in Colorado, correct?
Yes.
USC is falling to Colorado when
so let's put this in perspective, right? And I know what you're going to say.
What up?
I know what you're going to say when I say this. I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say it's a part of the game. So let's take this and put this in perspective. The only reason they have been successful is those
reason why who's
Colorado, because of those turnovers. Because every game in which Colorado has played, they were on their backs or about to lose until their opposition
you sound
threw an interception or a fumble.
You sound crazy. You sound
that's
real
the
crazy
only thing.
So
let's keep it. So yes, Shedeur looks nice. I'll give him that. Right,
he looks beyond nice. He's already he's a Heisman candidate already.
We have the Heisman. We have the reigning Heisman candidate,
well,
and he's running it back. And he's running it back in the fact he hasn't completed the game in 2 games, and he's still a leading Heisman candidate.
He's not the lead. Who said he was leading the Heisman candidate? Who said that?
He is.
He's not. Well, that's biased. We already know that. So that
is not biased. That's truth.
Bruh, but so how's he a leading candidate? He hasn't thrown for more yards than Shedeur, and Shedeur got less games than him.
He's a quarterback in the 6th ranked.
That doesn't put you in. That doesn't matter. That doesn't put you in Heisman candidates.
So what makes Shedeur? Because Shedeur has more passing yards than anyone in our conference.
And no interceptions.
Okay.
And a winning record. And has played someone. Don't worry, I'll wait. Let's keep it going. You want to keep it going? Let's keep it going. Yeah. And has played.
You know what? You seen Training Day, right?
Yes, everybody's seen Training Day.
And you remember the part with Denzel Washington is in the car with
1,000 yards passing, and it's almost in his 30. He's 100 yards from 1,000 yards passing. Sure. He's 100 yards, and it's only 2 games in. He's almost at 1,000 yards.
You know why that is? You know why that is?
Because he's a bad boy. I know why it is. Yep.
That's because that's their defense. Their defense is their ability to put up points. They can't play defense.
What does that have to do with Shedeur?
Wait till they face Oregon. Wait till they face Bo Nix.
What does that have to do with Shedeur throwing for 1,000 yards? What does the defense have to do with Shedeur throwing for 1,000 yards?
He has to put up them type of numbers in order to keep them viable. That's what it is.
Bro, each game they blown out.
Matthew Stafford used to put up 500 yards a game, but the Detroit Lions was trash.
Out each team. What do you mean? The defense have held their own. They was blown out every single team. That has nothing. The defense has nothing to do with him throwing 1,000 yards in 2 games.
Stafford used to put up 500 yards a game.
We are not comparing apples to oranges.
So what I'm saying is my point in saying that is if your defense is not that well, the only way for you to compete is to be in a track meet. You have to sit up.
How can you sit there and say their defense is not that well and the combined score with Colorado in relative points? The first game was against the ranked team.
42 to 45.
Ranked team, and then 14 in 4 quarters. 14 points.
They got an interception. They got if they don't get that interception, the score is different.
What interception?
Or if they don't get that, or it was an interception. I think a fumble in which they said. So when you take that into consideration, that has saved them. But it's a part of the game. Defensive plays are a part of the game. But what I'm talking about is if you look at it from a different perspective and you look at what was really done, their defense can't stop a run. So teams continue to run against.
About San Jose State put up 28 points.
Yeah, they did.
Put up 14 points.
14 points.
Stanford put up 10 points. Mm-hmm. What are you saying? It's no different.
But what was the scores? What was USC score?
56, 66, and 56. Your point?
Exactly.
Your point? Y'all supposed to put up
Colorado
that many
put up 44 points to 45 in their first game, and they put up what was their second game?
Again, these
36 to 12 or 14.
Again, these teams are, and none of the three of these teams ranked that USC played, not one, compared to a TCU team that is ranked.
Colorado
That was ranked.
USC is better than
Y'all
Colorado.
played three teams that was not ranked. Y'all supposed to put up 50 something.
USC is better than Colorado. USC is better than Oklahoma. USC is better than
rabbit. USC. Don't worry, USC will fall. Y'all heard it here first. September 30th, USC will fall to Colorado in Colorado.
You know what? Bishop?
Y'all heard it.
If USC wins over Colorado, the next week I want to see you in USC gear.
What?
I want you to sit up and cheer for USC.
For one, I'm not cheering for a team I don't even have no gear for. For one, I don't have no USC gear. I would not.
You just need to post. You matter of fact, just post it on your page. Post it like you got like what's on your page right now.
What's on my page right
next week for that next college week? I want you to post USC all over your page.
For what?
If that's a fair way. If Colorado wins, I would do it on my page. I would post Colorado all over my page.
That's not benefiting me at all.
I would post Colorado and Oklahoma all over my page.
If what?
If USC loses to Colorado.
And when we win, if Colorado win, you would say Oklahoma is the best.
Oklahoma is the best. In the Pac-12. In the Big 12.
In the Big 12. No, in the country. No, not in the Big 12. In the country.
You want me to perjure myself? Like, what are we doing?
Not in the Big 12. We already know in the Big 12. We already know that. We talk about in the country.
Are they the best in the Big 12?
Yes.
No. Are y'all? No, Kansas is better than y'all currently. No,
Kansas
State.
Kansas?
I'm sorry, Kansas State.
How is they better than us?
Well, they're ranked ahead of you.
That don't make them better.
In any case, Iowa comes in at number 25 for the Big 12. For the Big 10 in the top 25. Number 24, the UCLA Bruins for the Pac-12. At number 20, Washington State Cougars for the Pac-12. At number 23, Miami for the ACC. At number 21, another ACC affiliate, Duke, comes in the top 25. Another ACC affiliate, UNC North Carolina, comes in at number 20. At number 19, the Big 12's Oklahoma. At number 18, another Pac-12 affiliate, the Colorado Buffaloes. Ole Miss represents the SEC at number 17. At number 16, what do we have here? Yet another Pac-12 team coming in at number 16. At number 15, the Big 12 has a representative in Kansas State. SEC has an LSU affiliate. At number 14. At number 13, what do we have here? Pac-12 once again. At number 12, another Pac-12 affiliate for out of Utah. Number 11, SEC has Tennessee. At number 10, SEC has Alabama after losing to Texas. At number 9, I believe the ACC or the Independent, I think ACC, Notre Dame. At number 8, Pac-12 with Washington. Number 7, the Big 10. Has Penn State. Number 6, the Big 10 with Ohio State. Number 5, the Pac-12 with USC. Number 4, the Big 10 with Colorado. Texas. So technically, Texas is the best in the currently the best in the Big 12. And then the last 3 spots filled by the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10 and the SEC, with Florida at 3, Michigan at 2. And Georgia at 1. So when looking at this and taking consideration of what we seen in the play that's been going on and how everything goes, I still see the disrespect that comes in when it comes to USC, right? Or even the Pac-12 in general. Yes, I guess they're a trade-off because yes, there's 8 of 12 teams in the Pac-12 that are in the top 25. Of course, the other 4 teams have lost or aren't doing that great. But and when you look at it, and it could be because they played top-ranked opponents. How does Texas jump over yet again USC? Another team jumps over the disrespect, or Doug Anthony says. How does Texas jump over? Well, technically, Oregon struggled, I think, for a slight bit, and then they pulled away. But how does USC get jumped by Texas? Yet another team. That's Florida State and Texas have both consecutive weeks have jumped USC in the standings, and now, but of course, Ohio State, due to their showing with the 35-7 against Youngstown State, dropped below USC at number 6. But how did Michigan do the same thing and they remain at number 2? I'm trying to figure these things out. Texas may be deserving for the most part of that, because it was a convincing win. So maybe they are deserving of being the number 14. Texas did beat Alabama there, Marcus. That is correct. So, in that being said, how is it that we continue to get the disrespect? Texas beat Alabama. Number 11 beat number 6. Number 3. So how does number 11 jump up 6 spots over teams that, did what they had to do? It was a 10-point victory. So I'm just keeping that in mind. Of course, so unfortunately, USC won't be playing against none of the top opponents. So we don't get the opportunity to beat someone above us to sit up and see. The rankings are a joke. I get you, Anthony. So we won't be getting an opportunity to beat somebody and jump ahead of them because of a head-to-head. We basically have to allow for those teams to play one another and knock each other off, and we just have to be consistent in winning. But I'm looking to see when that happens, so that way, so we can see, will it continue to be the same rhetoric, or will we finally get our just due? Maybe it's a handoff due to the fact that the Pac-12 has 8 of 25, in which, like I said, some of them are going to start playing one. We're going to start playing one another, and we're going to start knocking it off. As I stated earlier, Colorado gets to play number 20. What was Colorado? 19, I think. No, 18. 18th ranked Colorado. In 2 weeks, within the next 3 weeks, we'll play against 2 of the 25 top ranked teams, in which at that point they're going to even go 0-2, 1-1, or 2-0, and then we'll go from there. So that is that for the NCAA college football. Later in the week, we'll talk about who's up and coming in these games. Excuse me, for the upcoming week. Now, getting into this weekend, a total of 15 games. 15 games have been played in totality, but 14 was played over the course of the weekend. Some interestingly, others not so much. I'm very sure there's a few people out there that had some games that they look and they were able to cheer and jeer. You had some that desperately were in need of something because it just wasn't going down. Happy faces, sad faces in fantasy football, as some players just didn't live up to their billing, which caused a complete and utter domino effect across the team and basically hurt others. But again, just like with Colorado winning their first game of the season versus TCU, and the rhetoric was, it's just one game. This is just 1 week. So we have more to see. But of course, starting it off, Carolina faced off against Atlanta, in which, in my opinion, Atlanta shows that it is so disrespectful for people to say that this division belongs to New Orleans and that no one else is going to be competitive. It's even disrespectful to put the Carolina Panthers above them, as Atlanta take care of business with a 24-10 win over their division foe Carolina Panthers. In this game, Desmond Ridder, 15 for 18 for 115 yards, 1 touchdown. Bryce Young on the other side of the spectrum, 20 completions, 38 attempts, 146 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Sacked twice for a loss of 19 yards, as Desmond Ridder was sacked 4 times for a loss of 24 yards on the night. Atlanta, Tyler Algier, I knew I should have picked him up, but I decided not to. Came in, did his thing, 15 carries, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bijan Robinson, 10 carries, 56 yards. Desmond Ritter, 1 for a -1 in that case. In the receiving, Kyle Pitts led the team in receiving yards with 2 receptions for 44 yards on 3 targets. Matt Collins, 3 for 31. Bijan Robinson, 6 for 27 with a touchdown. Tyler Algier was 3 for 19. On the other side of the spectrum, Miles Sanders leaving the Philadelphia Eagles and going on to Carolina, 18 carries for 72 yards. Chuba Hubbard, 9 for 60. Bryce Young had 3 for 17 himself, and Laviska Shenault was 2 for 5. Hayden Hurst led the receiving core with 5 receptions for 41 yards and a touchdown. Miles Sanders was 4 for 26. Terrence Marshall Jr., 2 for 23. Jonathan Mingo, rookie out of Ole Miss, 2 for 17. Laviska Shenault, a Colorado alumnus, 2 for 16. Adam Thielen, 2 for 12. Hubert and Giovanni Ricci combined 3 receptions for 11 points. For 11 yards, as the Carolina Panthers just couldn't get it done. So it has not been a quarterback to win their first game of the season since Derek Carr did it for the Houston Texans. That was a long time ago. Isn't that over 20 years ago? Not a single quarterback has entered into the season as with their first week game and been victorious, and yet that continues on. So depending upon what happens in this year's draft, we are running back again next year to see week 1 if we could get a rookie quarterback to get a victory. But in any case, Atlanta looked pretty good, man, in which, like I said, it could be because you see something a little different when it comes down to the rhetoric of New Orleans is going to run away with the NFC South. In other action, of course, battle for the O being the state of Ohio. Cincinnati Bengals faced off against Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns, in which Cleveland was victorious with a 24-3 shellacking of the Cincinnati Bengals and their $275 million quarterback. Now, of course, we know that Joe Burrow has not been active for the most part due to the fact of he was out with a strain. That is true. Except for, well, yes, you're so right, Anthony. So right. And there's something else I want to point out. I want to see if Bishop's going to come back first. I want to point something else out, which I've always said, but everyone still scoffs and laughs at it. But I think it's true. But like I said, Joe Burrow had a calf strain that kept him out the majority of the whole season, in which he came back trying to play, in which it just wasn't that. In any case, Deshaun Watson, 16 for 29, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks for a loss of 10 yards. Nick Chubb carried the rock 18 times for 106 yards. Deshaun Watson, 5 for 45 and a touchdown. Jerome Ford, 15 for 36. And Elijah Moore was 2 for 19 on rushing yards. Elijah Moore additionally contributed with 3 receptions for 43 yards on 7 targets. Amari Cooper, 3 for 37. David Njoku, 2 for 24. Nick Chubb had 4 receptions for 21 yards. Jordan Atkins, 1 for 12. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 1 for 12. And Harrison Bryant, 2 receptions for 5 yards and a touchdown. On the other side of the ball, not much really going on there. Joe Burrow was 4 for 13 with 82 yards, 2 sacks for 15 yards. Jake Browning came in at one point. He was 0 for 1. Joe Mixon carried 13 times, 56 yards. Chris Evans, 2 for 12. Travion Williams, 2 for 7. Jamar Chase, 1 for 2. And Jake Browning, 1 for a -1. Jamar Chase read the field with 5 receptions, 39 yards. But that was on 9 targets. So definitely the defense was locked in on Chase. T. Higgins didn't get a single reception on 8 targets. Tyler Boyd, 2 for 10. Irv Smith was 3 for 17, and Joe Mixon 3 for 17. In essence, Joe Mixon seems to be the biggest bright spot for them offense with a total of 16 touches for what was Joe Mixon? What I say? Joe Mixon 17. Okay. With 73 yards total. So that's not much to be said. Cincinnati didn't look too promising in the first, especially against a division foe. Currently, the Cleveland Browns have one up, so to speak, on them. So you know what to do next time you face up Cincinnati. Maybe you go on a tangent. Maybe you don't. We'll see. But right now, you're down 0-1 in the division and in the overall stats. Jacksonville Jaguars faced off against the Indianapolis Colts, in which another quarterback was being gets this opportunity to start. Anthony Richardson, that is AR-15, as we know, in Florida, making his first start for the Indianapolis Colts, in which he went 24 for 37, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 4 sacks for a total of 8 yards. Gardner Minshew did have an opportunity to get in as Richardson had to sit out. He went 0 for 2 in that. Additionally, Anthony Richardson, 10 carries for 40 yards with a touchdown. Deion Jackson, 13 carries for 14 yards. 2 carries for 10 yards for Jake Funk, and even Hole 1 for 1. In the reception area, Michael Pittman Jr. showing his gall, 8 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown on 11 targets. Kylan Granson, 4 receptions, 39 yards. Josh Downs, 3 for 30. Drew Ogletree, 1 for 25 for 14 from Deion Jackson. Jake Funk contributed 1 for 12. Even Hall, 1 for 6. Alex Pierce, 1 for 5. And for the Indianapolis Colts. On the other side of the spectrum, Trevor Etienne, who quarterbacked the squad to a 10-point victory, 24 for 32, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 2 sacks for 4 yards. Travis Etienne led the rushers, 18 carries, 77 yards, and 1 touchdown. Trevor Lawrence contributed with 21 yards on the ground. Tank Bigsby, 7 for 13. Himself and Agnew, 2 for a -2. Calvin Ridley showed up in grand force, showing that he is going to be a problem, and the Jacksonville receiving corps is off and running. Calvin Ridley, 8 receptions, 101 yards, 1 touchdown on 11 targets. Zay Jones, 5 for 55 and 1 touchdown on 7 targets. Even Ingram, 5 for 49. Etienne had 5 for 27 to go along with his 77 yards rushing. Christian Kirk, 1 reception for 9 yards, as Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence take care of business. 1-0 on the year.
Who's 1-0, sir? The guy in which I was telling you about?
You know who else is 1-0? The guy in which I was telling you about.
Who is that? Who?
Tua Tagovailoa. I digress.
Who did? But he barely made 1-0. He barely made.
Didn't. You say barely? The man had almost 500 yards passing.
They barely
had
won.
500 yards passing. You know what?
They barely won. Did they not?
So did what's called? They won by 10 points, and they needed.
That's not barely.
When you look, if you watch the game, it's barely.
No, it's not. It barely is when it barely is if you only need 1 point to score to beat them or tie the game. That's barely.
For this next game, I would say this. I owe a particular person, even though he didn't hear me because it was a conversation with me and my faithful team here that I'm talking to. It was a conversation between us. But I also want an apology. Baker Mayfield. I apologize.
Huh? No, you owe me. What do you mean you don't know? You don't. I sat here and told you. I called you on Saturday. Let me explain something. This is why Trey. This is why Trey be on my hit list, man. Because Trey's so full of it, bro. Taylor. Sunday, I called. I'm talking to Trey early because again, how many of y'all? Hopefully, most of y'all that's on here right now. I see it's only a few, but how many of y'all remember when Trey was talking about, Trey Lance, he's gonna be the starter. It won't be Brock Purdy. He won't even be ready. He will still be recovering before he becomes the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. Fast forward, Brock Purdy. Oh no, first. Fast forward, Trey Lance shipped out San Francisco. I said Trey Lance wouldn't even. I told him. How many of y'all remember? I told him Trey Lance was not going to be that dude. Second, fast forward. Brock Purdy starts. Third thing, I'm going to rewind just a little bit to yesterday. This is what made me call him. Brock Purdy came out hitting on all cylinders yesterday. All cylinders. So I call Trey. Hey, Trey. Everybody, thank you, AP. Thank you. Everybody said that. Everybody said that to Trey. I said, Trey. I said, what was you saying about Brock Purdy? Just Brock Purdy came out there like he ain't skipped a beat. He came out there like he hadn't skipped a beat and thrashed the Pittsburgh Steelers. Thrashed them. So when we talking, about the game, of course, we in our fantasy league or whatever. I need some big numbers tonight from Dalvin Cook to take a dub in the first formation. If Dalvin can do it, they say he's going to get big carries tonight. So I hope he do. I need about 15, 20 points from Dalvin. If I can get that from Dalvin tonight, I can pull off an upset. But anyway, he said yesterday, because I had Mike Evans for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Oh, man. Ooh, Baker Mayfield, trash. Straight trash. Really? Oh, really? True enough. Mike Evans hadn't done nothing the first half of that game.
Soon I hung up.
Tampa Bay was down. Soon as we hung up, Baker went to work. And Baker got them the dub with Mike Evans' help. You were saying, sir?
Baker Mayfield, 21 for 34, 173 yards.
What?
2 touchdowns, 1 sack for 4 yards. Rashad White, 17 carries for 39 yards.
We know everybody was talking about another gentleman who didn't even have 100 yards passing. Joe Burrow. That man had 84 yards.
84 yards. We just talked about him.
Passing. Bruh.
$275 million.
Quarters. That means he had 20 yards a quarter. If you break it down, he had 20 yards a quarter against Deshaun Watson. Who picked Cincinnati? Wasn't me. Yeah, but you know it's the first time. It's the first. I do know that, AP. I get it. I'm not knocking. That's why I'm not too high on Philly, because we didn't have a great game yesterday either. I was highly upset at Philly's performance yesterday. Again, another team who I do not care for. The coach, Nick Sirianni, I do not feel like is our answer. I do not.
Kirk Cousins.
It is a week one. Week one.
Kirk Cousins, 33 completions on 44 attempts, 344 yards.
Where is he at? Is he on here, Trey?
No, he's not. He ain't pulled up this morning.
I wanted to see him.
Yeah. He ain't pulled up this morning. I was spotted on this page. I was like, "Did you holler yesterday?" I was asking for a friend.
yeah, because I knew I wanted to see him.
I was out in Madison, 11 carries for 34 yards. Kirk Cousins, 3 for 7 on himself. Baker Mayfield, 8 carries for 11 yards. Sean Tucker, 5 for 15. Chase Edmonds, 2 for 88. Before I mentioned Mike Evans, 6 receptions for 66 yards, 1 touchdown on 10 attempts. Chris Godwin, 5 receptions for 51 yards on 6 targets. K. Otton, 2 for 19. Devin Thompson, 2 for 10. Rashad White contribute 2 for 10. Sean Tucker, 2 for 9. And Trey Palmer, 2 for 8. Justin Jefferson, 9 receptions, 150 yards on 12 targets. Jordan Addison pulled up and showed that he's going to possibly be a problem, as he's going to be his Robin. 4 receptions for 61 yards and a touchdown, which was a burner. 6 on 6 targets. TJ Hawkinson, newly minted, highest paid tight end in NFL history. 8 receptions, 35 yards on 9 targets. Josh Oliver, 3 for 32. KJ Orton, 3 for 31. Tyler and Chandler again, 1 for 18. With Alexander Matheson, 3 for 10. What MP said, if you were judging by week 1, Lamar Jackson's not an MVP.
He's not. He had 3 turnovers? I think he had 3 turnovers yesterday.
Yeah,
he did. He did not have a great game, but that boy Zay Flowers, you better watch him. He He did not. He did not have a. And then they lost. They lost. DK Dobbins again.
Dobbins on the year again. Yeah,
Achilles.
again.
Yet again, Achilles. He's out for the season. That's terrible. But yes, Lamar did not look good. The quarterbacks that looked good yesterday, in my opinion, would definitely have to be. I gotta give it to him, man. I said this man was that dude. Was Brock Purdy? He looked out. He looked freaking outstanding. Who else?
So comfortable.
Tua looked good. Mac Jones looked good.
Second half though, right? For Mac Jones.
No, Mac Jones figured it out in the first.
After that pick.
After the second quarter, Mac Jones figured it out. They tied it. It was 16-19 at half. They cut the lead. Right. They scored 2 touchdowns in 4 minutes. Yeah, Mac Jones looked good. Jordan Love looked good. Jordan Love. People who struggle. Jalen Hurts. Quarterbacks that struggles. Jalen Hurts. CJ Stroud. Struggled. Who else struggled? Somebody else struggled. Didn't look all that great. Who else was it? Somebody.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow struggled. Yeah.
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Everybody kept talking about Justin Fields' line. The offensive line got beefed up. He still ran for his life again in that game against Green Bay. He still was running for his life, bro. Like
Daniel Jones.
Yeah. Oh, he. 40.
You know what?
Come on, Daniel.
Confer this.
Come on, New York.
Can you say is it fair to say the elements play a part
in the game? You talking about like the weather element? Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like that's why
the games in which we thought was going to be different. The weather, it was raining. Cincinnati blowout.
I feel like I think that's why we didn't throw the ball in the beginning of the game. I feel like our offensive coordinator during the time which was because he didn't throw the ball. He didn't throw the ball the entire first. We ran the ball the entire first quarter. We didn't throw the ball. We didn't. His longest throw, I think, in the first half was like 23 yards. Mm-hmm. But in the second half, that's when he started throwing the ball. So I think they was trying to wait for the rain to subside and go away before we started throwing the ball. But yeah, elements definitely play a factor without question, man. Elements definitely play a factor in the games. But some quarterbacks can deal with weather and make it, you know. What up, Lestan? What's good? Some quarterbacks can deal with the weather and still make plays. Obviously, Mac Jones was able to do it.
But you know what's funny? It seems like when one team in those instances, one team does, the other team doesn't.
Yeah.
Mac Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones and Dak.
Dak did fine. Yeah, Dak threw the ball fine.
Like we just said, Deshaun Watson and Joe Burrow. Yeah. It seems like anyone that some people it was like there wasn't too many games to where it was even keel. If it's like one, if it was raining, one was just dismal, the other one was living his best life.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it plays a huge factor. Some guys can deal with it, some guys can't. But we definitely gotta figure it out on our side, man. Our defense.
What did you think of Anthony Richardson in his game?
Didn't he get hurt?
He went out. He had to go out for a couple of plays. He got his cage rattled a little bit trying to get that touchdown.
I know he got in the end zone one time. I didn't get to really see the game, but I kind of figured Anthony Richardson if the most impressive rookie on yesterday's game in week 1 would probably be
Richardson, I think.
Zay.
Oh, the impressive rookie?
Nah,
I think it was Bijan.
What did Bijan end up with? I didn't get to see what he ended up with though. What did he? What was his numbers? Was his numbers better than Zay?
So his numbers might have been better than Zay, but his impact with the team was in. So his numbers was Bijan was 10 for 56, and then he was 6 for 27 and a touchdown in receptions. So what was that? 16 touches for 83 yards in the touchdown.
See, I don't think Zay got in the end zone at all. I think he had a great deal of touches, but I don't think
Zay
he got.
Flowers? No, he
Yeah,
didn't get in the end zone.
he didn't get on. He didn't get in the end zone not once. He didn't.
Let me
He
see.
had. Let me see. He didn't get in the end zone, but he did have. And I didn't even play him. That's the thing. I didn't even play Zay.
He was 9 for 78 on 10 targets.
That's it. I thought he had at least 100 yards. That's all he
And
had.
then he had he had 100-yard total. No, not even 100 yards total.
No,
Because he only had 9 yards rushing.
And 78 yards. Yeah, no, he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he had 17 points.
So 17 points would mean 9 for receptions, another 7 for 18, 16. Yeah.
He had 17 points for fantasy, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens going to let JK go this season. That man can't stay healthy. Yeah, he's going, and they was due to restructure his contract actually at the beginning of the season, and now he's gotten hurt. So yeah, he's probably done. The worst quarterback probably rating of this or fantasy points of this weekend. Well, no, outside of Joe Burrow. Well, top 3 was probably Joe
Daniel
Burrow.
Jones.
No, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and yeah, Daniel Jones. You're right, and Daniel Jones, because Lamar only had 6.56 fantasy points, and he did throw for at least 160 some yards. Joe Burrow didn't even throw 100 yards, so you know his fantasy points was well below that. He's probably in it.
The Dallas Cowboys. Was that a showing of what they are to be? Or is it a showing of what the New York Giants are not in that aspect? Like, where does that stand out? Like, can we expect this from Stephon Gilmore as advertised? Of course, but we already know that. It's almost, which was a little bit early to say. I was about to say it's almost like the defense in which we seen from Philadelphia last year when we looked at Slay and what's the name hooking up together. Bradton, was it Bradenton?
It looked good. You don't really have any damage on there.
So now we have Trey Diggs and name 3 star players on the Giants offense. You don't necessarily have to have star players. And I mean, so you don't have necessarily star players, but you have Daniel Jones, you have Saquon Barkley for the most part on their offense, and then maybe a player off the defense, whether it be Thibodeau or somebody like that. So, but you don't necessarily have to have stars to be able for your you said offense. Yeah, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones. And which is just like I said, I just think they ran into an unfortunate situation last night. Now, I'm not saying what's good, Courtney. What's going on, fam? I'm glad to have information with us this morning, brother. Blessings to you and your family as well. Always a pleasure having you on and tapping in with us. So definitely, it was. I don't think that's what the New York Giants is going to look like every game this year. I don't foresee that in any way, form, or fashion. I just think that they got caught up. It was an unfortunate situation. The weather wasn't the best. You got to take into consideration with the holdout of Saquon Barkley. They didn't elect for there to be as many repetitions on offense with him and the rest of the starting lineup early. So a lot of stuff comes into play, and I just don't foresee them being held to that for the most part. So, I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm not feeling too well. I'm trying to make it through. But in any case, it's just one of those things going forward, like to take a look at. Like he said, it was a couple of people that were showing out. Derek Carr, not the greatest in his debut, but he got the dub. Kenny Pickett faced a daunting San Francisco defense, so that was one thing. Justin Fields, we don't know what he's going to be. And the reason I speak mainly to the quarterback is because that's usually who's at the helm and who does this. Russell Wilson, yet another loss. So that's that characteristic of what we've seen in Russell Wilson of past. We wonder, can Sean McVay turn him around and make them competitive with Russell Wilson at the helm? Who else that we didn't get a chance to? CJ Stroud, a lot of yards put up for the most part as starting as a rookie, but nothing else besides that. Throttled 25-9 in their opening game. Now, who I will say that didn't look bad was more did more than I expected was Sam Howell for the Washington Commanders, and of course, getting their first win of the season, 20-16 over a dismal Arizona Cardinals. But it was a game; they were able to pull it out. So Sam Howell didn't look as bad as what I thought. Brian Robinson doing exactly what we thought he was supposed to be do. Remember, he was supposed to start the season last year and wasn't able to due to his the shooting in which took place before the season started, and he had to recover. So they look pretty good, of course. Additionally, the Rams did definitely more than I thought, 30-13 over the Seattle Seahawks, with out-star players for the most part. I mean, everyone, Cam Akers, okay, he's all right. Matthew Stafford, he's a quarterback, but who was his outside of Tyler Higbee? He really doesn't have anybody of notoriety. Nick and Jefferson, which dropped a lot of passes and stuff like that. So it was looking bad, no different than Kansas City without Kelsey. That's basically what they look like without Cooper Kupp. But they were able to take care of business, get a 30-13 win over the Seattle Seahawks. But of course, one to go in a little more in depth is this Miami Dolphins Los Angeles Chargers joint. So of course, Tua, like we said, 28 for 45, 466 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Of course, that 466 equals the third best opening day performance for a quarterback in NFL history. Justin Herbert, 23 for 33 with 228, 1 touchdown, 3 sacks, 29 yards lost. Raheem Mostert, 10 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. Eric Ekuzama, but ups to Bijan Robinson. That man is for real. Yes, I was saying that earlier, Anthony. He is. Bijan Robinson is a real deal. I'll give him that. Tua, 5 carries for 5 yards. Salvon Ahmed, 3 for 11. On the other side of the ball, Austin Eckler proving that he is a dominant force. Amongst the running back, 16 for 117 yards, 1 TD. Joshua Kelly, a serviceable backup, 16 for 91 and 1 TD. Justin Herbert, 5 for 18 himself for a TD. Keenan Allen, 6 for 76 off of 9 targets. Austin Eckler was 4 for 5 and contributed 47 yards off of 5 targets. Mike Williams, 4 for 45 off of 5. Donald Parham Jr., 3 for 21. Gerald Everett, 2 for 21 himself. Quentin Johnson, 2 for 9 and 1. Darius Davis, Joshua Palmer, 1 reception apiece, respectively 5 and 4. So very efficient receiving core as Justin Herbert was getting it all around the field. Not too many drops here and there, 1 to 2 drops a person. So that's not bad, especially going into the season if they can continue that. What's good, Leslie? Glad to have information this morning. Tyreek Hill, however, was the reason for the season of 11 receptions on 15 targets, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, 4 for 78. Dorian Smythe with 3 receptions for 44 yards. Braxton Berrios, 3 for 42. River Craycraft was 3 for 40 himself. Alec Ingold, 2 for 34. And Raheem Mostert was 2 for 13. Yes, the Bucs surprised. I ain't gonna say surprised the world. They definitely surprised me. We was talking about that a little bit earlier, Leslie. Taking care of business. Baker did what he needed to do. So shout out to Baker. Like I said, I regress. I apologize because I surely said he was trash. But they would take care of business. So now Tua and Tyreek putting up them points in connection. 211 yards is not anything to sneeze at. Tyreek Hill has already made an assertion that he's going to be a 2,000-yard receiver this year. We know that he had claims to that last year, I think, in which, of course, it was a little hard because he was without Tua Tagovailoa for the most part of the season, or late in the season, to where it kind of dampened that. But it looks like if Tua is going to be healthy, then that possibility is very possible to be a 2,000-yard receiver, already 10% of the way there. And it's just 1 week under the belt. But, of course, it's 16 more games to play. And that leaves more opportunity for even injuries to be locked down or anything to come. But we're here for it to check it out and see how that's going to end up going. So one more game to take a look at real quick. Of course, the aforementioned didn't really get to tap into it. Was, of course, them 49ers, as we stated. And actually, I'll take a look at the Dallas game. Brock Purdy came out 19-29. 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 sacks, lost to 17 yards. Christian McCaffrey, another performance, top-grade performance, 22 carries for 152 yards, plus 1 touchdown to go along with that. 3 receptions for 17 yards. Brandon Ayuk, not bad if I don't say so myself. 8 receptions for 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't drop a single pass. Deebo Samuel, 5 for 55. George Kittle, 3 for 19. But on the other side of the spectrum, not too good. Kenny Pickett, 31 for 46, 232 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks for a total of 34 yards lost. Najee Harris kind of on lock, 6 carries for 31 yards. Jalen Warren, 3 for 6 on his night. Allen Robinson, the second, going from Chicago to Los Angeles to now Pittsburgh, 5 for 64 on his debut night. Deontay Johnson, 3 for 48. Calvin Austin, the third, 6 for 37. George Pickens, 5 for 36. And Connor Hayward, 2 for 19. Jalen Warren, 5 for 12 himself. Anthony McFarland Jr., 2 for 11. And Pat Freiermuth, 1 for 3. So when you look at it, it wasn't a bad start for the most part. Of course, there's one more game that is left, and that is the tonight's game. The New York Jets face off against the Buffalo Bills, in which it'll be Aaron Rodgers' debut with the Jets, his new team, a plethora of weapons in Garrett, now Dalvin Cook, potentially Breece Hall. So, and then of course, barrel of riches and skills on the defensive part of the side of the ball. So it's going to look tonight. I think I will have the Jets coming out. I think I go with the Jets coming out for tonight's dub. Getting that, as I'm saying, I'm not feeling that well, kind of under the weather. So I go ahead and end the show here. Hopefully I'll be able to get back in tomorrow. He's 52 years old. He should still be doing. Hopefully he plays like saying Tom Brady in his late ages for the most part, tops. But like I said, hopefully I'll be back on tomorrow, feeling a little better. Hopefully, and then we'll be able to see and talk about last night's game. If not, then of course you'll see me maybe Wednesday. I don't know, Thursday. I have a couple of things to do, but y'all see me back on. In any case, it's your boy. Greatly appreciate y'all checking in with me, Coach Curry, guy that Coach FIBA in basketball. I greatly hope we all tap in when I'm up again. Look forward to checking it up with y'all. Check out tonight's game. And I'll holler at you. It's your boy Trey the Commission. I'm up out of here. Peace.